he can't hear me. Wait, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Does it sound like I'm on a mic?
Yes. Sounds
Okay.
very nice.
Okay. Oh, it kind of stinks though, because like the camera is like so bad. I feel like it's so dark.
For me,
No, for both of us.
I
It's
can
okay,
see
though.
you pretty good. I know it's a little bit dark where I am. I have
No.
all the lights on though, so
It's okay. Well, if anything, we'll have good audio, and that's fine.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, sick.
It'll be good for the podcast people, if anything. Maybe not a good week to watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure, because it's kind of dark, but it's okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is up? Did you have a good 4th of July?
Yeah, I had a great 4th of July.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a little more low-key than what we're used to, but it was really fun. Just got to
Yes.
spend time with family and all that stuff.
Could
Not a
you-
good 4th of July for golf betting, but that's a different story.
Did you get to shoot off any fireworks?
Yeah, we shot off
did?
a couple fireworks. We watched a lot of fireworks.
Nice.
What about you?
What?
Did you guys have some fireworks?
No, not really. So I was at my grandparents' house, and they live in like Northern California.
Yeah,
So it's
down in the Shasta area, right?
and so like it's so dry there they can't.
Oh,
It's pretty much
that's not
illegal
good.
too, almost.
Gotcha, yeah.
Because if one goes wrong, the whole place will
Right.
go up in flames. But yeah, okay. So do you want to begin with the golf results and some of your predictions?
Yes.
Okay.
It, like I said, not ideal. We were talking about it. We were talking about it last week, and like I said, like Bryson was obviously the heavy favorite, but there was no way we were going to bet him at 6-1, and that turned out to be the wrong decision.
Yeah, no, he killed it.
He destroyed it and destroyed most of my lineups in the process too.
Mhm.
So.
Who did you think was gonna win?
Well, I mean, I think we all kind of thought Bryson was going to win, but at 6.5-1, it just never makes sense to bet a golfer at those odds.
Yeah.
But if anything, I'm just kind of glad we got it out of the way. You know, like he was bound to win eventually the way he was playing, and so.
Yeah, and Ricky played a lot better.
Yeah, Ricky had a bounce back week. I think he came in tied for 12th.
Yeah,
He had to have an insane back nine on Friday just to make the cut, but then he kind of got to work on the weekend. You could tell he like wasn't feeling the pressure the way he was, and he was just like sort of just out there playing his game, and he looked as good as he's been in a while.
I was really happy that he started playing good because he's like my favorite.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
I was kind of scared at first because my dad was like, I think it was the last day or the third day, and he said that he hit a couple bogeys early, and I was like, oh crap. But
Yeah.
that's good that he ended like 14 under, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he really got it going on the weekend.
And then we learned that what's his last Wolf? What's his first name?
Oh, yeah, Matthew Wolf.
Matthew Wolf's pretty good.
He's pretty freaking good, yeah. He actually won a tournament last year, and then it kind of cooled off. But he's just a guy who can go really low, and that's what happened this week. It kind of fell apart for him on the front nine on Sunday, but still a great week for Matthew Wolf.
Yeah, so did you watch the end of it? I didn't really catch it. So, like, what happened? Because didn't Bryson or did Wolf just kind of catch a little bit of fire at the end and close some distance, or what?
Right, yeah. Once Wolf had kind of settled into the round, Wolf had a few shaky moments early on in Sunday, and then he kind of got it rolling on the back nine. And then Bryson did not take his foot off the gas whatsoever. And
he was smashing balls.
And that caused him to make some mistakes, but he was ultimately able to finish it off. So
didn't he hit one like 400?
Yeah, he's been carrying with like 340 yards of carry. So he's hitting the absolute crap out of that golf ball right now.
Honestly, like, you know, you were saying once he gets a dub, it's going to be hard for him not to take any more, you know, or for him to like, it's going to be hard for anyone else to get dubs.
Right, yeah.
What if this is like the beginning?
It honestly could be.
But there's so many good golfers, though.
There are a lot of good golfers, but I think Bryson Bryson, Rory, and Justin Thomas definitely are probably going to be the favorites for pretty much every tournament the rest of the season if they're in the field.
And then I was reading that what's it called? The Ryder Cup is postponed.
Yeah.
Was that the next upcoming event?
No, I think it got pushed back just till it might have gotten pushed back almost till next year. But no, it's always sort of in September. But
okay. Got it.
I think just because it's like a big international tournament, they don't follow the same rules as like the rest of the PGA events were.
All right.
So it's kind of like its own deal, sort of.
Mm-hmm. So who's in the next? What's the next one?
So this week we're going to go to Ohio, to Muirfield Village Golf Club. And this is actually a very unique situation on the PGA Tour because we're actually going to be playing Muirfield Village this week as well as next week. So, this week is going to be the inaugural and probably the only workday charity open, which they actually just kind of made this event on the fly as sort of a replacement for the John Deere Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Which got canceled. And so I guess Muirfield Village just like volunteered to take on the tournament. Well, I'm sure they didn't volunteer. They're going to get some money. But they decided to have all the guys out for 2 weeks. And so this field is going to be a lot better than what we saw last week, which is going to be exciting. No Bryson. He's going to take a week off after.
I don't blame him. He won like 1.4 mil.
I know, yeah. Yeah. 4 tourneys in a row, too. He's probably tired.
Yeah, that's true.
Gotta go hit those protein shakes, I guess. But,
for sure.
But Justin Thomas is going to be back. Jordan Spieth is going to be back. Xander Schauffele, John Rahm. Like, that's going to be probably a more exciting event than what we saw last time.
Yeah, because I feel like this last one, I mean, although I think the closest, because like Bryson towards the end of the last round was 21 under, and then the next closest person was like 18. But I feel like the last few, it's been within like 1 or 2 strokes.
Yeah, and that's kind of just the way Detroit Golf Club was always going to play. Mm-hmm. It's always just one of those courses where people go crazy low, and so there's usually like a runaway winner there. And Bryson was just obviously playing out of his mind, so he kind of took the reins on Sunday. Muirfield is going to be by far the toughest course we've seen since the PGA Tour has come back. And so, it's going to play even tougher next week for the Memorial. I don't know how it's going to play this week. I imagine the rough's going to be a little shorter and the greens are going to be slower this week. But still it's going to be the toughest course. So it'll be an interesting test for some of the guys. I don't think this will be as much of a shootout as we've been seeing.
Yeah. So they're playing it back to back?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So basically they're just, do you think a lot of guys are just going to stay and they're just going to roll right into the second round, or?
Yeah. And you're going to see a lot of guys play both weeks. And then the thing is, this is just a regular PGA Tour event this week. So it's like a 168, 69 man field. So a lot of players like we've been seeing recently. Next week at the Memorial, it's an invitational tournament. So only about 120 players, but a much stronger field. You might even see a Tiger Woods pull up next week. So
really?
Yeah.
What does it take to get invited?
Just high world ranking.
Just like your overall.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So basically, wait, what were you going to say?
Like aside from like all obviously the 4 majors and the players and all the WGC events, the Memorial, which is going to be next week, is like one of the most highly regarded by different players. And so it's definitely going to be an exciting one to check out. And then this week's going to just be like a regular tournament like we've been seeing the past few weeks.
So basically they're just going to like change the where the pin placement and stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah, they're going to change the pin placements for sure. There'll probably be a few of the same pin placements, but they'll definitely save like the absolute hardest ones for next week. They're definitely going to grow out the rough for next week as well. And I bet the greens will be playing a lot faster too, because that's kind of like the signature of the Memorial Tournament is how fast the greens are.
Do you think there'd be a possibility of a back-to-back? Same guy?
Oh, same guy?
Or do you think that's pretty rare?
That's pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's possible. If somebody, I guess, just feels super comfortable, it could just roll into next week.
Yeah. I gotta think that Shoffley is pretty close to winning one.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah.
really close.
He has been close. Yeah, this is such a tough field. I don't know about Xander, but he's hitting those irons so well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the big thing you've got to do here at Memorial, that he can definitely put himself into contention.
So wait, who else besides him?
So obviously Justin Thomas right now is
Yeah. Oh yeah, you said that. Okay, I
favorite.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then further down, there are some guys I like too, that we can get to those guys later, I guess, as more value plays. But at the top of the board, like, yeah, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
Those are all the guys
Mm-hmm.
who are going to be like the favorites going into the week.
Who's your favorite?
My favorite to win, I would have to go with Victor Hovland.
Okay.
I've kind of been riding this guy for the past couple of weeks, and he's hitting the ball better than anybody on tour, and that's just a statistical fact. Like, the last 2 weeks, he's led the field in tee to green. He just hasn't been able to make a putt. And Muirfield Village, the greens are very small, and so you're not going to be seeing like the same amount of long putts as you would on a regular course, which is something Victor obviously struggles with. And the greens are going to be slower this week than they are usually at Memorial, and so I think that'll be another factor that could probably help Victor Hovland out. I think, like we were saying last week, like Bryson had just been playing so consistently well that he was due for a win. I think Victor Hovland is due for a win right now, so I could definitely see him taking this.
Okay, so what would your lineup be like?
For fantasy golf?
Yeah.
I'll definitely be playing a lot of Victor Hovland. And then there are also some value plays I really like once you get down the board. There's a guy named Joel Damon who's clocking in on DraftKings that I want to say around 7,500, 7,700 for Joel Damon. I think he's got win equity here because he just hits his irons so well, specifically his long irons. And long irons are a big key at Muirfield Village. There are a lot of long par fours. And so obviously long par fours, you're not going to drive it as close to the green. So that really brings the guys who can hit their mid and long irons into play. And I think that's Joel Damon. And then a guy who I really, I guess, was hyping up last week was Adam Hadwin. And Adam Hadwin, he might have had a bit of a disappointing week last week until the last two holes where he actually finished the tournament eagle birdie and stuck into the top fives. And Adam Hadwin is a bit of a streaky player. So usually when he has one good result, there are a few more that are on the way. So I think Adam Hadwin is definitely a guy who could play well today or this week. And then Matt Kuchar, a bit of a course horse, has always sort of played well at Muirfield Village. I like him this week too. He's sort of a consistent guy. Like, Matt Kuchar is a cut maker, and so I think if you play him in fantasy this week, he's not a guy who you're going to be worrying about very much,
Yeah. So you think some of those guys could be sleepers that you could think maybe could win?
Maybe not necessarily all of them to win.
Yeah.
But definitely all at least solid value. And then one last guy who was in the 8,000s, which is crazy, is Patrick Reed. And the thing about Patrick Reed is he's a bit of a boomer bust sort of guy. And then obviously last week in Detroit, he was very bad, and he probably costed a lot of people a lot of money. Not me. I wasn't on him. I had different people cost me money. But anyway, like, Patrick Reed has been bumped down to 8,800, which is about as cheap as you're ever going to be able to play Patrick Reed. And Patrick Reed is a winner. Like, he just finds a way to win like 2 or 3 PGA Tour events a season. And so for $8,800, you're getting a guy who I think could easily take this thing down. That is terrific value. Maybe not for cash games so much, but definitely like as like a sleeper tournament play. I don't think he's going to be insanely high owned. So I'm loving some Patrick Reed this week.
Yeah, pretty sure I've heard of him. Has he been doing well? Like, besides like last week, I feel like I've seen him like in the leaderboards.
Right, yeah. He's won the Masters before.
Yeah, okay.
He's just one of those guys who is just always at the top of the rankings and all that stuff.
That's how I kind of feel about like the UFC this week. Some of the guys that are underdogs or whatever, you will never get to see them as underdogs often. So you need to jump on the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Should we move over to talking some UFC?
Sure. Did you look anything up at all? Have you been following?
Yeah, it was actually super funny. Immediately after our show last week, I went and did some research, and I watched the Gilbert Burns against, what's that guy's name?
Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, I watched their fight.
You watched it all?
Yeah, I watched it. Well, I mean,
That's
it's just 25 minutes, but I watched it all. And I was super impressed by Gilbert Burns, so I was really disappointed when I found out that he wasn't going to be.
I know. I literally went to look it up because my dad was talking about, he's like, you think Burns has it locked up or whatever? I was like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he would, because I'm pretty high on him because his performance was really impressive, right?
Yeah,
he's a beast. He's so heavy-handed, and people are scared to go to the mat with him because he's so good.
Yeah, that was crazy when Tyron Woodley kind of brought him to the ground, but then immediately got back up because he didn't want to be down there with.
As soon as he hit him with that uppercut and he fell and he dropped Tyron Woodley, I knew it was over. I was like, "There's no way." Tyron Woodley just hasn't been the same. He fought when he lost the belt against Kamaru Usman, he just pretty much got manhandled, and he's been trying to pursue a rap career and so many other side hustles that I don't think his full attention was focused on fighting. He
kind of knows that his career is reaching its
plus he's 37 or something. So it's kind of tough though when you're champion, because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it.
Right, yeah, probably a lot of pressure too, because everybody wants to take you on and stuff.
Yeah, and media obligations that takes away from your training.
What do you think about the new guy? What's his name? Jose Mardival?
Jorge Masvidal. Yes, he's a beast, but I just don't understand the hype behind him. You should watch some of his fight. Did you see him do with his flying knee?
No. I saw him on a First Take this morning.
Oh yeah. He's an interesting fellow, huh?
He's definitely hyped up. Was this sort of a really big break for him to get a headline fight like this, or is he always in the mix?
So basically, he fought Darren Till, who was a pretty good big superstar, and he knocked him out. And then he had this beef with Ben Askren, who came over from a trade with think of it's One FC or whatever. And the bantamweight champion, I mean not the flyweight, former flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson, they traded him over for Ben Askren or whatever. Which was a welterweight champion in the other fighting organization, and Ben Askren just is a huge troll, and he just calls everybody out and stuff. And so him and Jorge they didn't get along, so they matched them up to fight or whatever. And then Jorge just became an instant superstar because he has the fastest knockout in UFC history. I'm pretty sure. Because he ran and he faked him out, and then he just Ben Askren's a wrestler, so he went in for the takedown or whatever, but Jorge came in with the flying knee and just knocked him out cold.
Wow.
So you have to look that up.
Okay, so even though he is sort of the heavy underdog this week, you think he's gonna come out guns blazing and definitely put on a show no matter what, right?
Well, I think so. It's honestly it's a lose-lose for the champ. So if the champ right now, Kamaru Usman, beats Jorge Masvidal, he's expected to, and Jorge has the fallback excuse, I only trained on 6 days notice. Right, but then if he loses, it's well, shoot, dude, I had a full training camp and no one, you know what I mean? It's a tough thing for him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If he loses, it's sort of embarrassing, but if he wins, it's just what's expected. So he can't really gain anything by it.
So it honestly, as much as people want to say it's kind of badass for Jorge to take this on short notice. It's honestly more badass for him too, because we're talking about completely separate fighters. Like Gilbert Burns is a savage, and Jorge is really good on his feet. He can grapple a little bit for sure, but like he's not on the same level as Gilbert Burns. And yeah, the UFC honestly is loving this because Jorge has so much star power and like a lot of casuals know his name. So you're going to get more pay-per-view buys for sure.
Do you want to throw out a prediction for it?
So basically, well, I just want to say one thing though, is that Jorge, like he priced himself out hardcore. So he's been actually low-key training for this fight for like 5 to 6 months, but the UFC didn't give him the amount of money he was asking for. So he backed out of this fight like twice. So it's not like he's coming on this in short notice. It just kind of makes me mad that he like priced himself up. But I mean, like at the same time, there's an issue with paying the UFC, but that's a separate thing. But like, I think Kamaru Usman is going to ragdoll him because he's such a beast.
That's what he was saying on First Take, was that he definitely commands a hefty price for his services.
Yes, I know. It's fine. It's good for him that he can do this. But once he faces like the Colby Covingtons, like even this upcoming weekend, he's going to get like exposed for who he actually is. And that's like a really good fighter who is not going to beat the top-notch guys. Like he's really exciting and stuff, but when it comes down to like, I don't know, there's just something different about certain guys that are champions. They're so well
like a certain tier below them probably.
Yeah, because there's definitely tiers. There's like the beginners, and then there's like gatekeepers, and then there's like contenders, and then you got champions. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to me, he's a contender / gatekeeper. He will be soon, but I'm happy that you figured it out, and he's finally able to like have some leverage because he's been fighting for 20 years. But it's like, dude.
Wow.
He started with like Kimbo Slice in the backyard fighting and stuff. That's how he got started, like the bare knuckle, like backyard stuff.
So he's an old dude.
Yeah, the thing is, he's not that old though. He's like
he just started really young.
Mm-hmm. He started like in his teen, like really young, and pretty sure he's like 36 now, which isn't too bad considering he's been fighting for that long.
He probably started when he was like 16 then.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. Crazy. But yeah. You should watch. And then, yeah, he became even more of a superstar because of the BMF like title he had against Nate Diaz, which is like the baddest mother effer belt. They like made it up. Yeah. And so he has that belt. And so it's kind of fun. There's like 2 belts on the line kind of, because if Kamaru beats him, he's the baddest motherfucker.
Yeah.
But like, it's fine. I just get really upset seeing like guys that are really deserving of title shots, like, and then they get denied just because they don't. Because like for me as an actual fan, I want to see the best guys fight, but a lot of times you get guys that somewhat aren't deserving, but because they can pull numbers, they get more opportunities.
Right, just fan favorites.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, but like at the same time, you have to market yourself. You know what I mean? Where like it's entertainment, so you want to have it. Like it's tough because you have really good guys, but if they don't want to put in the time or energy to market themselves, it's like you're hurting yourself. But at the same time, you want guys to be genuine. You don't want them to be fake. So it's just tough.
Speaking of marketability, I'd love to see Bryson get in the octagon with one of these guys.
Dude, that would be. My dad was actually talking about that. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
How big is he? Like how tall is he?
I don't know. I'd probably have to guess like 6 feet ballpark. Like he's a big guy. Even like before he got as big as he is now, he like had those broad shoulders and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's thick, dude.
He'd still get crushed by it.
Yeah, I know. But he's a thick boy for sure.
Bryson would be like calculating the trajectory of his punches and whatever, and then
Dude, it was so funny. I'm like, what the hell's he doing? And he's walking all the way. So like his shot was in like on the not fringe, but like kind of in the like barely in the rough or whatever. It's probably like 50 yards away from the hole.
And
he walks all the way up to the green and then he comes back. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah. He's one of the slowest players.
No, he is for sure.
He
analyzes where his ball is on a green or whatever, and he just like feels everything out. It's crazy.
Didn't he not even get that shot up and down too? Or he made birdie on that hole that you're
I'm pretty sure he made birdie on that hole. But like, I'm like,
I guess it paid off there. But
yeah, I was listening because I didn't really know much about like how, because he's super intelligent, I guess now. Like, right?
Yeah. He's kind of just that scientist guy, mad scientist.
So like Pat McAfee or whatever. Do you watch the Pat McAfee show?
I watch clips from it on YouTube.
I watch clips too. And he said that like, I wouldn't be surprised if at one point like Bryson DeChambeau or whatever, like his brain just like implodes and he just starts to suck because he's like, you're
just like computer overload.
Yeah. Because like I feel like once something like that, like a system like that breaks, it's hard to get back, Yeah. Because like I feel like there's a lot of guys that are like, they have a system or whatever, but once every like shit hits the fan, it's tough for them to like bounce back.
Yeah, and golf's one of those things too that sometimes once you kind of get into a stretch of bad play, it's all mental too. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bryson's mental game can compete once he starts hitting some adversity.
Yeah, I forget. I think it was one of the first events back, and Spieth wasn't doing too hot.
Oh,
and he's just talking. He's like, "What the hell was that, Jordan?"
Spieth is a head case, though. He's always like talking to himself on the course and stuff. Because he's always yelling at his caddy too.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't realize that like Bubba Watson is kind of like he's a head case too. I was watching clips of him, and he was like yelling at his caddy.
Definitely, like earlier in his career too.
They were like it was old footage.
Yeah,
but I watched one. It made me laugh so hard. He was like about to I think he was gonna pitch it, or like he was just gonna hit it onto the green or something, and he just like gets up, stops, looks over, and then just starts calling someone out in the crowd. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? He's like, I see your phone, or because you can't like take pictures,
Right, yeah.
Or is it the flash or whatever?
Yeah, no pictures during tournaments.
Dude, this is so funny.
And those golfers are so picky too about everything. I guess when you're that dialed in, you have to be, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's easy. I feel like they're so good that when stuff's going wrong, they feel almost obligated to want to pin it on something else probably because they're so used to dominating.
Did you hear Bryson's whole rant about the camera crew this week?
What do you say?
He so the camera crew, Bryson on Saturday, he had a bit of a few rough shots, and you could kind of see him visibly frustrated, and he spit on the ground a little bit, and just
I saw that.
He was looking a little mad, and then
spit, dude, who does that?
I know. Then the next day or whatever, later that day, he was like, oh, these camera people, they're showing me in such a negative way. It's ruining my brand.
Well, you want it to, dude, it's honestly good though. People want to see how you truly act.
Right. Yeah. Bryson is golf's villain right now. And that's a good thing. Every sport needs like that bad guy. And Bryson is the perfect candidate.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that's okay. It's actually weird how we're like relating you like golf and UFC right now, but like these two guys, like honestly the top, so the welterweight title or whatever, these guys, like the guys that are fighting, like Jorge and Kamaru are like both like people like both guys like I feel like are really polarizing for a lot of different people. And even like, have you heard of Colby Covington? You know Colby Covington?
I think so. I know the name.
Yeah, dude, he's a beast. The people's champ. those are like, he's one of the most divisive guys because he's always like, he's like a Trump lover and stuff, you know?
Really.
But like, in Jorge is just people don't know what to think. And then Kamaru, he just, the way he talks and stuff, people just like don't buy it, his persona and stuff. So it's like going to be really interesting to see like when all of these guys fight, like who they truly are, you know what I mean? Because so much comes out after like someone loses or wins, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, no more fake tough guy after you've gotten.
That's
like,
why
your
I'm
ass
so
handed
excited
to
for
you.
this weekend.
Yeah,
It's going to be super interesting because I just really hope that people don't discredit Kamaru just because Jorge took this fight on short notice. Because, you know, that would stink.
yeah. Oh, and I forgot to ask you, was Jorge actually on Fight Island, or did he have to fly out on 6 days' notice?
No, they flew out like a couple days ago. They're there. Everybody's there right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he had as much time quarantining as like all the other guys, though, so it's not like a safety risk or anything like that.
Yeah. He had to take one of the antibody tests at home which said he's negative, and then he flew out to Las Vegas where he quarantined. Like everybody flew out. That was because like originally this fight was just canceled. You know, like Usman was on his way to like Texas or whatever, eating a bunch of food.
Yeah.
Like that's where his parents live, and then they got a call, and he's like, "Oh crap!" So I have to fly back to Vegas, quarantine, and then fly back out again. You know, so they had to spend like 48 hours in Las Vegas after getting tested, and now they have to spend 48 hours after being tested in Abu Dhabi before they can like go out or something.
That's good that they're being very cautious, though. I think that's kind of important for all the sports leagues to do right now.
Yeah, but it's kind of a pain though because like actually Kamaru brought up a really interesting point. So like I think like they know that it's kind of it's honestly tougher on the fighters if they get like a short notice fight. Like either way, even if you have a camp or you don't, if you're fighting a completely separate person, it's still tough, you know? And so they're thinking that like maybe since he's like, it's weird. He's like, since Jorge is such a big draw or whatever, and obviously more of a fan favorite and superstar than the current champion is, he's like, it's kind of weird to me that they would do this after I've went home or like on my way home, like after I've eaten a bunch of food, and then they want to catch me off guard like this. Like it's like something that I never thought about, but it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you catch the champion that not a lot of people are down with, who like not a lot of people really want to see fight, you know, if they like are trying to pull something just so they can get a superstar in a position to where he could actually have a good chance at winning the belt, you know?
That's interesting.
Everything's a business, dude. Like as much as it wants to be like pure and everything, like if you market yourself right, or if you pull numbers, like you're going to have a better shot at success for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's really interesting.
It'll be exciting to see, I guess. If anything, this has brought sort of like yet another intriguing storyline to 251.
I know. Like it's endless.
Mm-hmm.
Like the storylines are insane. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah. Do you have any predictions? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know if anybody should really be listening to my predictions because this is definitely not my area of expertise. But I think Jorge could pull it off. He seems confident enough. Maybe he just goes out there like on fire. The 20 years of experience.
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was watching one of his interviews and he doesn't seem too worried. And I'm like, you know, when you're at a certain age, you know, and you've had so much experience, not a lot scares you.
Yeah, like if he grew up as like a 16-year-old fighting grown men, I doubt like too much is going to scare him, you know?
Mm-hmm. I know.
So, and he's been in the business for 20 years. So I don't really think he's going to be too fazed by like the bright lights. And
he's not fazed by that at all.
Yeah.
At all. The only thing that can what?
I think he'll rise to the occasion and catch some people off guard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anything could happen. Literally anything can happen.
It's
But
completely new circumstances.
yeah, everything is messed up. But yeah, Max Holloway was saying that that's the co-main event, Max Holloway versus Volkanovski. He was saying that like they have like 5 mini fights before they even get to the fight. Like they have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty insane that you have to. He lived in Hawaii, so he had to fly to Las Vegas, take a test, quarantine 48 hours, fly to Abu Dhabi, and then quarantine 48 hours. And then you have to cut weight, and then you have to make weight, and then you have to make weight, and then you have to adjust to fighting in the morning, a completely different time zone because they're going to be like 7 a.m. here, and then he has to actually win like in order to get his belt back. Like that's a lot to ask from these guys.
Yeah. Did you say it's going to be 7 p.m. here?
It's going to be 7 p.m. here. Main card starts at 6 a.m. in Abu Dhabi.
Jeez, yeah. That is early.
Yeah. And one of the girls on the main card is from Oregon. So, like, you might as well just stay on the same time zone. Like, there's no point of adjusting, I feel like.
Yeah. Do you think maybe they stay up all night before their fight or just set their alarms?
I don't know. I think it depends on the personality. You probably get guys that are super chill and they're just like, let's do it. Like, Masvidal's going to sleep soundly at night. Like, he's just going to show up and be like, whatever. But I feel like some people, they're just different, you know?
Yeah. Well, looking forward to it.
Sure. I know, me too. Do you want to talk about Patty Mahomes?
Let's talk a little Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so is it 450 mil, right?
I think 503 million, but I think that's counting the last 2 years of his rookie scale.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then for 10 years.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to understand it. So, like, how does it work? Because obviously they don't have that. Do they have that money right now? Because, I mean, I was, like, watching Pat McAfee. He was talking about how it's, like, he'll get a percentage of the salary.
Right, yeah. So they do have the money. And then the interesting thing about the deal is that the biggest spike in salary comes a few seasons from now when the NFL salary cap is like scheduled to spike up as well because they're going to be getting a new TV deal. And so it just is going to kind of fit into that. And like Patrick Mahomes was saying, he wouldn't have signed a deal if he thought it would like prevent the team from adding new players and getting better. So I don't think this will handicap the Chiefs too much.
But I feel like it low-key does, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're spending that much money on one player, it's going to be like hard to like excel in other areas. But like quarterback is obviously such an important position that if you're basically locking yourself into having like one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL for the next 8 years, that's kind of an opportunity you have to jump on. You know?
Yeah, that's like what I was thinking because there's 2 ways to look at it. So you could either think that like paying Patrick this much is gonna like inhibit them from like paying guys like Kelsey and Tyrann Mathieu and like Tyreek Hill and like Sammy and Mecole Hardman or whatever. Like it's gonna be tougher probably to get a lot of like or to keep more high caliber guys, but at the same time, when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, I don't think it's really going to matter who's around him. Obviously it helps, but he's like a kind of like once in a, like not even generation, like he's like a once in kind of a lifetime quarterback. And so if you have, and he's like Tom Brady, like he's going to make guys that have relatively no name, like better.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this was sort of a no-brainer for the Chiefs.
You got to lock him up. If you want to win, if you want to have any chance of winning, you have to have him.
Yeah, and this is like the biggest contract in like the history of sports. Mm-hmm. But they're getting him for 12 years too. So like obviously Patrick Mahomes is basically a Chief for life after this.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, I was like thinking because Lamar Jackson, he literally, besides his tight ends like Mark Andrews and like Nick Boyle and like Hollywood, he doesn't have too much around him. No. And he is such a dynamic player. And I wouldn't. Who would you have? What would you rather have, Mahomes or Lamar?
Easily Mahomes.
Really?
Easily. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just like a Lamar.
The
What?
thing about when you've got a guy like Lamar Jackson, you don't necessarily always need the best receivers because when you're buying yourself like that much time by scrambling and all that stuff, your receivers are going to have plenty of time to get open and like find holes in the defense. And so it
Yeah.
becomes less important, I feel
I
like.
think, okay, so I was given so much crap. So I was so high on Lamar. I'm like, the Ravens just made like the pick of the century. Like they're gonna get a guy out of Lamar Jackson. And then no one when I was at UP, no one believed me. They're like, Lamar sucks. Like he's not gonna do anything. And I was
Even
like,
this year,
okay,
people
whatever.
were saying that.
Huh?
Even this year, people were saying that.
Yeah, like preseason.
Okay, wow.
Like preseason going into this upcoming NFL season or the last years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they wouldn't have gotten rid of Joe Flacco if they didn't think they had something.
Right. Yeah. And everybody was like, dude, Lamar, he's a bust. I was like, we'll see, bro. And so we had I didn't pick him because when we had a fantasy draft, I draft all Niners pretty basically because I'm a diehard. And so
then when Niners bye week comes up, you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much screwed. I'm looking for those free agents or whatever.
Yeah.
But actually, I did have Patty Mahomes was my quarterback though, but I replaced him with Jimmy G because Jimmy was my backup.
And then Patrick probably hurt you come playoff time this year, didn't he? Because wasn't he hurt for
he was hurt for a few games, and he didn't. I kind of benched him because he wasn't doing much. But I told my friend Luke, I'm like, dude, get Lamar Jackson. He's like, no, and he was about to, and then it's just so funny how guys just like arise out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then this year Lamar is going to be probably like a top 5 pick in fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And I was drafting guys like Raheem Mostert, you know, and everybody knows who he is now. And they're like, who is that? Like, is he even on the list? I'm like, yeah, he is. And he ends up being like one of the best running backs, or like not one of the best running backs in the league, but like one of the most productive running backs for like the best team in football, basically, or the best.
You probably had a pretty good team if you were able to get him late in the draft, right?
Yeah, I had Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, and Raheem Mostert.
So did you win the finals in your league, or?
No, I lost. I'm pretty sure. Wait, did I win? I forget. I think I came close to winning, but my team was pretty stacked because I had like Patrick Mahomes, George Kittle, and like Raheem Mostert, and then I forget my whole roster, but I was pretty stacked.
Yeah, it's loaded.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
We're going to have to maybe talk fantasy football sometime.
We will, for sure. But
do you even think there's going to be an NFL season this year?
I honestly have no idea.
It's hard to tell.
They could, but it's going to be so like hard to make money.
If any sports league was just going to throw caution to the wind and just say like, screw it, we're going to have a season, it would be the NFL.
Yeah, I know. Even baseball is going to be tough too.
There's no way that works out, right?
Dude, they're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
Like, I think baseball is a mess right now.
Between like the Astros scandal and now just their utter incompetency for the last few weeks, baseball is on life support right now.
Basically, like, people barely want to go to the games as it is.
Yeah, it's not a good time for the MLB.
It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, my dad was looking like, I think the San Francisco Giants want to forfeit this season. Basically, I wouldn't be surprised if more teams want to either.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense because it feels like the players are sort of getting screwed over in this situation anyway. I don't know, like why they would want to.
The risk reward's not there.
Yeah.
But my mom's like, they need to be playing. They shouldn't matter. Like, they should want to play even if they're not getting their full salary. I'm like, Mom, these guys want their full contract, and they're not. It's like, I don't know.
Speaking tough. Of playing, did you hear what my guy Myers Leonard had to say this week?
What?
He was making some pretty big headlines on ESPN because you know how a bunch of the players have been complaining about the bubble and how it's just not fair to them and all that stuff to be cooped up.
Mm-hmm.
Myers was like talking about how his brother did like 2 9-month tours in Afghanistan for like a fraction of the pay. And so like spending 3 months at a resort, like making millions of dollars shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, I see it, but
Yeah, I mean, he definitely a valid point, but like it's you all these guys are still like making sacrifices, like I guess obviously based off the life they're accustomed to. But
yeah, I agree with him.
I think I would have to agree with him as well.
I love Myers Leonard. When you came to school with your Myers Leonard jersey, it just made me bust up laughing. he's
still,
hilarious.
still have it as well as the Heat jersey now.
Nice. Yeah. When he was against the Warriors, when he was just pulling up from the arc and he was just draining threes, I'm like, oh, what a
He was
savage.
unstoppable that game. Yeah.
I know. He's a beast.
It's nice that he went out on a high note in a Portland uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was definitely some low points in his career and the Blazers' career, or in the Blazers recently, because they're always like good. I just feel like they've been missing a few pieces that like put them over the top.
Right. Yeah. Myers is a Blazers legend for life, though.
Mm-hmm. Him and Brendan Roy, they're like the same. Like their legacy's the same.
Well, I mean, maybe Myers is slightly above Brandon Roy,
Probably.
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just so, because like for school I had to write about something, and I just wrote about how coronavirus impacts sports. And when I was writing about it, like, because I wanted to write a good paper or whatever, and I was trying to find all these ways that coronavirus is going to impact sports, and like trying to find all these sources. And then I was like, took a step back. I took a reality check. Like, Kellan, you don't actually want the coronavirus to like destroy sports because you like love sports. They're your life. But I was like, it's so funny. I was like, yeah, like I don't actually want these things to happen. But I was like low key kind of happy like when a new story came out, but because it was more sources. But then at the same time, I'm like super upset because it seems like nothing is going to be the same after this.
No, not for a few years at least.
Yeah. And if the way we live doesn't change anytime soon, this is just going to become like a normal occurrence.
Can I segue into the Jonah Willard rant of the week?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So while we're on the topic of coronavirus, did you hear about that news story of those police officers who showed up to a coffee shop wearing no masks?
Yes.
And they got into a lot of trouble?
Yes.
That just irritates me to no end, people who don't wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get their mentality. It's like, I'm like a healthy young adult. Like, obviously, if I catch coronavirus, chances are nothing bad is going to happen to me.
I got a 0.04.
I might be under the weather for a couple of days, but I won't die. I won't probably go to the hospital. I'll recover. But like, just wear a mask as like a courtesy to other people. Because like, people are dying from the coronavirus.
It's getting worse.
It's getting way worse. And so if you're going to the store, or I don't know where people are even going these days, like restaurants are open, which is ridiculous, but just wear a mask. Like, I know it's uncomfortable and I know people think they're like immune to the virus, but just like, I don't know, just be a nice person, I guess, and just have some consideration, like for
those that are compromised can potentially die from it, you know?
Yeah.
I need to get better about it. Like, for sure. I haven't, like, I wear a mask usually, like most times, but like sometimes I don't. And when I see like an older person at the store and I see them like look at me, I'm like, I should be wearing one.
Yeah.
I mean, like out of respect for them.
It's just sort of something that everybody kind of is.
Especially sort of now. Like, I didn't really take it as seriously. I was still paranoid about it. Everybody's like even back in freaking what?
Everybody's sort of just, I guess, learning about it. It definitely takes some time getting used to, because it's like a whole new way of living in the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. But
yes.
Yeah.
I actually have a quick question. Do you want to do one? Like, are you doing anything else this week?
Not until the weekend, no.
Okay. Do you want to do like one on Friday and like you can research and then you could do like predictions for like the whole UFC 251?
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just go down the card and just say who we
Okay.
like.
And I'll do more research too. So we're going to do that because I feel like we didn't talk much about it. We just mainly talked about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just talked about the two main guys pretty much. But yeah, we can like dive in depth more.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Okay, sick. And then I sent you that picture.
Oh yeah, of the sports rankings.
Do you want to like go through it really fast or do you have to go?
Yeah. I actually I kind of had to do some rearranging on it so I can talk about a few of the adjustments.
Okay, sick. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to do it, but I have a good idea. So like I want to hear yours.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, sick.
You mean on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that on Friday.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Dope.
Sounds good.
Cool. Do you have anything else you really want to talk about?
Do you have a prediction for the golf this weekend? Are there any guys who stood out to you?
I think Xander Schauffele for sure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. Might be a Xander week. He's come close since the PGA started, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But for sure, I need to make that list. I need to. How many did you go all the way through it?
Yeah, I did. I went. Was it like 42?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you put.
I thought, for the most part, like it was pretty good. Like I just had certain things jumped up like 3 or 4 spots, but like in general, it wasn't awful. I didn't think.
Really?
I could definitely tell it put more of like an emphasis on sports that involved like a lot of athleticism. And then at the bottom were sports that were like more like learned skill and technique,
Yeah. I just feel like the skating sports are really tough.
Yeah.
Even though like people might underestimate them, I feel like those are hard. But like it depends on what the criteria is because I mean anybody can really ski if you learn to. But to do it at a really high level and to get dropped out of a freaking helicopter in like ski in like the mountains, like that's crazy.
Or like think about it this way too. Like a sport like, I don't know, this is a bad example, but darts is like really hard.
Yeah.
Because like you have to like grind like probably hours and hours of practice and technique to like figure out the perfect form so that you can like hit your numbers consistently.
For sure.
So that's like really tough. But then sprinting, like you have to be born super fast in order to win the 100-meter dash at like a high level or whatever. And like me and you, there's only like so much like training and like workouts we could do to like compete in that. Like we're just never gonna 100%. Ever be able to like outrun
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, there's a certain amount of genetics that goes into stuff.
But like for Usain Bolt, the 100-yard dash probably like obviously requires tough training, but it also probably
doesn't hurt that he's 6'4" with fast twitch muscle fibers.
I know, yeah. But for like the top ranked dart player in the world, who I have no idea who that is, but it probably like didn't come super easy for him. He probably had to like practice a ton and put in like maybe even more work than like Usain Bolt would have had to.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people could do it, but the people that are willing to put in the amount of time to become the best dart player in the world are very far and like few and far between.
I know.
You know what I mean?
He would even want to spend all that time just to become like the best.
I haven't even heard of that. I haven't even seen a dart match online.
You'd have to really commit to it, because if you spent like a ton of time and money practicing and then became like the 30th best dart player in the world, I don't really think you're making a super good living for yourself at that point, are you?
No. I was looking up chess or whatever, and like some of the best chess players in the world, like there's only few of them that can actually genuinely make a good living off of playing chess.
Yeah. Chess is another one that's pretty hard, just because I feel like Bryson DeChambeau would be good at it, just because like you have to have so much stuff stored in your mind. Like you have to have like 6 or 7 different scenarios playing out in your head all at once, which is like
insane. Like that, I could never do that.
It's a whole different like sort of skill set than any other sport,
I couldn't even imagine having to focus on that many things at one time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
because you have ways that you want to win, but then if one person does something, if your opponent does something that like that you weren't ready for, it could throw everything off.
I feel like there is no really incorrect way to order that list, because every sport is just like really tough in its own way, I guess, which I guess that kind of sounds really corny and cliche, but like it's also sort of true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I would have had golf up there. Because I think golf's really hard.
Yeah, golf is hard, but then you get a guy like I don't know who's a good example of it.
Brooks Koepka.
Brooks, who it just comes super easy to him, or a guy like Phil Mickelson, which would have been more accurate a few years ago. He was just kind of this like chubby, everyday looking dude, but he was just really good. It doesn't like necessarily require hours in the gym or like insane genetics, but it's such a hard game. Anyway.
Well, to be able to concentrate for 4 straight days, 18 holes of golf, or every hole,
right? Whenever
is literally one hole can screw up your, like
literally one shot. Yeah,
we saw it with Todd.
Yeah,
he plays good for 3 days, right?
Then just shanks that chip, right?
He has it. Yeah, he shanks that chip. It has a triple bogey. Whole weekend destroyed.
And like knowing that one shot probably costs you like $100K, and you have to like sort of like have that in the back of your mind for the rest of the round while still playing like high level golf is just mind boggling.
Yeah, but yeah.
We'll have to go more in depth than that later. I guess I'm revealing too many of my cards right now,
Yeah. Okay, cool. But I'm excited. So do you want to do it on Friday?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, awesome. I think that we did a good amount. How long? Yeah, we did about an hour.
Nice. What were we last week? Like 52 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting in that work.
Yeah, we are. It's sick, but I'm excited. This is fun.
Yeah.
And like it's okay. Like we can cut like some of this stuff at the end out. Like it's fine.
No, I think this was all gold, and this all should go on the show.
Yeah. Okay. Sick. Was there anything else that I wanted to mention? Nope. Not really. So basically, we'll go full in depth on UFC. We'll do the list, and then I'm sure something else new is going to come up.
Yeah, we could. If anything, we could just do a quick check-in on like how the golf tournament has gone.
Yeah, for sure, because it'll be midway through, huh?
Right. Yeah, and we'll figure out who's like made the cut and all that stuff. So
yeah.
We can touch on
I wanted to actually ask you: did you see DeSean Jackson?
Oh yeah, that was crazy to me.
Yeah. So what did he say again?
He didn't really.
He had a quote.
Yeah, he had a quote from Hitler, of all people.
Yeah.
Which is just unforgivable, in my opinion. Like, who could possibly think quoting Hitler is okay?
I know. I'm like...
That's just mind-boggling. Like, did you not learn anything in your history classes or whatever that would have suggested that Hitler is maybe not the best guy to, like, seek to for any sort of knowledge?
Okay, it's great that there's so many people that have a good platform and stuff, or like a big platform to like speak their mind. I don't know if
great is the word I'd use.
What?
I don't know if I'd say great if they're using it for stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I mean, like,
right. Most people are making a positive difference.
I think it's great that there's a lot of people that have platforms, like, in that they can, like back in like the 40s and stuff, there obviously weren't a lot of professional athletes that were black that like young black kids could look up to, but now there are. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of idiots out there that just should keep their mouths shut. Yeah. Like that they feel like.
Did you see that?
What?
Did you see that Kevin Durant liked DeSean Jackson's tweet?
Ah, God.
I know.
There's just a lot of things people don't think about before they do it.
Yeah, but no, you're totally right about how it's good that athletes have a platform now. And a lot of them are like speaking, I guess, from the perspective of like maybe less like affluent communities who oftentimes like wouldn't have a voice in these sorts of situations. So it's definitely like important to pay attention and like regard what they have to say, you know.
But I think it would be smart.
DeSean Jackson.
I think it would be smart to consult your agent before posting a Hitler quote on your Instagram.
Or just some random guy in the street. I feel like anybody could have told DeSean that this was a idiotic move, but
yeah, very interesting. But I just think that there's some people that they're better off just not, because silence is violence, you know, that saying. Yes, it's true. But at the same time,
noise can be
sometimes
violent.
Noise can equal stupidity. Can equate to stupid stuff. But yeah, awesome. Well, this was super fun. And then I'm just gonna honestly put you in the bio for like the podcast thing, so I don't have to put like guest.
Okay.
Nice. It'll just be like me and you, basically. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. This was fun. Okay.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you for having me on again.
No problem. You don't have to thank me. You're the co-host.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.